everybody, it's Lauren here, and this is Kyle. And if you are new to my channel, I am an IFBB Bikini Pro, and this is Kyle, and he is my boyfriend, but he's also been coaching me since like 2015. And he prepped me through 2019, my pro rookie season. And then he obviously prepped me in 2020 for this season here. And, oh yeah, what do you want to say?
Technically, I've been personal training you since, within training, since like 2012, 2013. But
yeah.
Just saying.
Yep, we've been together for a long time. So in this video though, today I want to talk about the period and the menstrual cycle within competitors. Specifically, I have been sharing my experience within my YouTube channel about how I lose my cycle, and today I'm going to share thoughts about that and my personal experience and ways that I do to get it back. I asked you guys to ask me some questions, so I'm going to be going over some questions today, answering those questions.
And I like the point how she says it's kind of just about what I mean, yeah, we have suggestions for some of the clients, that hire us and trust us. My mom was OBGYN, midwife, nurse practitioner. I grew up with two older siblings, or sisters. And then my sister-in-law is actually pretty into the holistic side of fertility, as well as a medical doctor. And my brother's a medical doctor, but more so her, my sister-in-law, being, that's more her specialty. So I do have consulted with my mother as well as my sister-in-law about a lot of this stuff, as well as just this is her personal experience. And so, yeah, we're not experts, we're not specialists, we're just giving you our personal experiences within her niche. Yeah. Within
me and within our clients that we work with as well. I mean, a lot of our women, we do the best we can to keep that period.
This book's pretty good.
We do everything in our power to keep that period within our clients here. And if they do end up losing their period, we do everything in our power to get it back post-show. And I have had really good experience with all of my competitors get their period back pretty quick post-show with everything that we put in place for them post-show. Like, that is the number one priority for me as a coach, is if they lost their cycle, I want to make sure they get that back first thing and that their hormones are in a good place.
This is a nice little book too, by Lyle McDonald, and talks a lot about specifically for women.
Yeah, read this.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, this is a really, really great book.
You need to definitely go talk to a specialist if you're having a if it's from running or gymnastics or genetics, or it's been gone for a long time and then you get into the sport, or it's just, there's so much context that matters, that when she said, hey, we've helped everyone recover, it's usually that they're good to go before the prep. So they had a menstrual cycle, it was pretty consistent, and yeah, I mean, they're young, resilient usually, so it's not so context does matter.
First one, why do you lose it in the first place? Malnourishment? Ways to avoid that on prep/low calorie. So why do you lose it in the first place? Well, you're losing it in the first place just because your body's stressed out, and the last thing you want to do is have a baby. Just because your body's stressed out, being on low calories in general. I mean, getting to this extreme level of leanness that we need to get to within a female, it's not healthy. That's why I don't stay that lean all year round, because it's not healthy. So it's the stress from the dieting. It's the stress from all the cardio that you may have to be doing, the intense training that you're doing, and also you're losing body fat as well. So those are all the reasons why you end up losing the cycle.
Yeah, I mean, if you were in the woods and you were not eating much, that's going to be something you're going to lose first before just like giving up the rest of everything else going on in your life, you know. So, like she said, it's just your body is not trying to have a baby and do that when you're 8% body fat or 12. It just depends on the person. But that was the answer. That was perfect.
And then the second thing she asked is ways to avoid that on prep. So ways to avoid losing your cycle. So yeah, that's why we're huge on refeed days, doing a longer contest prep too. So you don't have to be as aggressive with the diet side of things. And we take care of our women with doing diet breaks, incorporating that. So a week period where you get out of the deficit and you eat at maintenance calories. All of this helps with hormones. Doing back-to-back double refeed days helps with cortisol.
Starting position too. I mean, if you lose 40 to 60 pounds compared to someone who has to lose 15 or 20, that definitely makes a difference too. And everyone's different. I mean, some people, are you on birth control or not? And then also just like genetically, some people will lose it a lot sooner than others. Some people won't lose it. And it definitely doesn't, like, I want to get this clear too. It doesn't, a lot of time this is the thing. It's like, you're not going to have a libido. You're going to have to lose your period to get shredded enough. For a man, you have to not have a libido and this and that. It's like, that's just not the case. Like, you can still have a libido. You can still have your menstrual cycle and be shredded. It just totally depends on the person and the context.
And their genetics.
So it's just not like, you have to lose your period to get lean enough. To
like,
be like,
yes, I lost my period. I'm lean enough now. No. How long did it typically take you to get your period back before? So before, in 2019, it took me 10 weeks to get my period back. Now, I was dieting and stage lean much, much longer in 2019. I did 8 shows in 2019. So I think that's why it took me even longer to actually get my period back, because I did all of the right things. But yeah, it took me 10 weeks for me to get my cycle back. This time around, in 2020, after my season, I got it back 5 weeks post-show, which that is the fastest I have ever got my period back. And in 2017, when I won my pro card that year, I think I got it back pretty quick. I'm pretty sure.
8 to 12 weeks.
Yeah, it was about that. So, yeah, this time around I got it back within 5 weeks, and it was because I wasn't stage lean for as long. I think that's why I got it back so quick.
You started the supplements sooner.
What's the supplements I'm going to share?
Yeah, some of the natural supplements, you started that sooner. And then I just think it's also, why does anything get better when you do it more often as you become a pro and become, this is like not her first rodeo. So her starting position is always going to be better, and her body might not be as triggered to stress from it all. So it's like, why is she rebounding so well post-show anyway, as far as like the cravings? Some of it is even reverse dieting at the end of a prep. Or
I was eating a lot during prep this year.
Yeah, and just in general, I think your body, it's like, even last week for me, like I was on really low carb last week and it was really tough. But this week, it's still tough, but it's a little bit easier. My body's a little bit less stressed. So I just think it like, but anyway.
Mine isn't back yet, ever since I lost it in June. At which point should one feel concerned?
I don't know. It depends on how old you are. I think you should be concerned the older you are, because the closer you are to menopause, the quicker you're going to hit menopause with this type of like lifestyle, with bodybuilding lifestyle. Of course, if you're using like PEDs, it's even more so. But yeah, I think the older you are, I think the more concerned you have to be with this lifestyle, because you're not going to be as resilient. And then it just, again, go back to our context of how long were you lean? How long was your prep? How long has it been gone? What is your past history with all of this? Like, is that common for you to lose it?
Like, are you in improvement season right now? Like, are you post-show? Was June like the last time you competed? Are you still prepping for shows too? So
yeah, and when did you how many pounds up are you from stage weight, and have you reduced cardio a ton, and have you actually got softer and put on some weight? As far as being concerned, I would go talk to a specialist, and if you are concerned, it's June. That's pretty recent
June,
still.
July,
I
August,
personally
September.
wouldn't be concerned, but I would start to get concerned going into the new year, and I would get some blood work. Is a cheaper route real quick to see stuff, as well as so you can see blood markers and parameters there. And then go talk to your primary physician, and then if you really need to go talk to even more so a specialist, you can talk to your primary physician about talking to a specialist about it. So
how far into your prep do you lose it? So I lost it when I was 5 weeks out from my first show this year. So I tend to lose it when I am literally stage lean. That's when I lose it.
Or 6 pounds up.
I lost it when I hit 129 pounds. That's when I lost it. And I just got back up to 129 pounds and I just got my period back. So I lose it when I'm in that final
I think once cardio goes up a good amount, and food's pretty low,
that's when we made that change.
It's things are not even getting necessarily about doing it healthy or responsible anymore. It's we have a deadline. She's a pro.
Yeah, you gotta get to this conditioning.
You have to get conditioned. But I feel like it's kind of at the end. It's not in the beginning of prep. It's definitely more closer to the last 2 months of prep.
How long is too long of no period after a show? How long is too long? Well, I think you definitely should get it however long you dieted for. Say if you dieted for 20 weeks, you should definitely, I feel, should get it back within at least 20 weeks. If it's any longer than that, then you need to think about yourself right now, and you need to look at yourself and be like, am I eating enough? Do I have enough body fat on me? Am I not doing a lot of cardio right now, or hit cardio? And because sometimes you just might be still doing a lot.
Yeah, just because you're eating more doesn't mean you're covered.
Just because you're eating 300 grams of carbs and you're eating a ton, doesn't mean you're recovered. It's all about that body fat percentage.
That question is just so individual based on context.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should ever necessarily be worried. I think the whole idea, we don't want to blow this out of proportion. What's your goal? Is your goal to get pregnant and be the most responsible you can be and keep your fertility? I mean, if you really want to be optimal about your fertility, you should want it kind of every 28 days, right? You want it consistent. You don't want it every 40 days. But having it every 40 days is fine. So it's just based on expectation and based on goal and context. You can not have it for a couple years, and it's not necessarily going to affect your bone mineral density that much depending on your genetics. And you could probably still get pregnant easily. I mean, you know what I mean? So you can not have it for even a few years in your late teens or early 20s, and it's not going to have necessarily this crazy negative effect on your life later on in life. You'll still be able to get pregnant, your bone mineral density will be fine. Sometimes you can go to a specialist and they can make it kind of happen not naturally, and that can definitely extend things out. So I don't know if there's an answer to how long is, what was the question?
How long is too long of no period after a show?
Yeah, that's a very individual, personal question.
Yeah, but like I said, I feel if how long you were dieting for your show, I feel that might be the maximum time.
Yeah, we're just trying to be as most responsible as we possibly can with Lauren and our clients.
With our clients, if they get stage lean and they are just so they look the part up there, and they didn't need to get any leaner for the show, and they lost their period during contest prep, then we're trying to put on that 10 pounds fairly quickly. We're not trying to slowly reverse, because that's still going to stress their body out. That's why we like to put on that amount of weight fairly fast and quickly, so their hormones can get back in a really good spot quick, So hopefully that kickstarts them, getting their cycle back as soon as possible.
I follow this woman on Instagram. Some of you guys, ladies, might want to follow. What is it called? Like, no period, now what, or something. She's a PhD, and she might have a certain viewpoint that I don't necessarily agree with, like 100%, but I definitely agree with a lot of stuff she says, and I think it's all really interesting. It's called No Period, Now What? Or,
she has a book,
but
too.
She's even interesting because it's like she'll have people come to her and they won't have it for 10 years, and then like she'll work with them and she'll help them get it back pretty quick. And it's usually just like stop running or change this about your diet and like de-stress or stop moving. And you don't necessarily have to go all in, but there are some characteristics between the rest and recovery and food and calories and gaining body fat.
Honestly, it's stress. That's like the main
And those people are
thing.
healthy later on in life. So it's not like this huge thing where it's like you have to... I just don't want to scare you guys to think that it's like such a big deal if you just don't have it for 6 months or an extended period of time.
Okay, so what supplements, food, macros, exercise should we do for getting it back? So for exercise, what we actually did in 2020 is I didn't work out for 10 full days, I'm pretty sure. Like I took a week or more off of the gym. I didn't work out. I didn't do any cardio because
She had surgery.
I did end up having a breast augmentation. This was even before that.
Oh.
So,
Yeah,
that's one thing you could do is just take some time, take a week off of the gym after your competition.
Yeah, even 2 weeks.
And also, post-show, don't just go into the gym and keep on, like, you got to watch out for that because you can overdo it too. And I think a big thing that Kyle does is really manages my fatigue after my competition because he doesn't just throw me in there and I'm already like pushing the weight super heavy. No, I really kind of pull back a lot of stuff.
But you can definitely like sprint out of the gate because you're insulin sensitive. So you're in a vulnerable spot to put on body fat, but also you're in a really good spot to put on a ton of muscle. Especially if you were drug-free throughout a contest prep, you're going to put on muscle you lost when you lost body weight. So, a lot of people do sprint out of the gate post-show and they're able to recomp and put a lot of muscle on. It can bite you in the butt though in the long run. Like, have you ever seen those horse races where that horse sprints out of the gate and he looks like he's winning and then everyone catches up anyway? So that's the idea with the training is there's no need to like sprint out of the gate just to like get these gains really quick. 6-8 months from now, especially if you stay away from injury, doing it the way we're doing it, you can just ease back into the volume and the training and keep getting stronger as you put on weight, and it just seems more practical.
And then, in terms of like, she asked about food and macros. So this time around, in terms of like my food post-show, I've only had like 2 untracked meals, to be honest. So I've been like eating all of my own food. So I've been eating all whole foods and in terms of my macros and stuff, like I've been eating enough to put on weight. I've been trying to eat enough to put on. So post show, I was eating like 300 grams of carbs at one point, but that still wasn't enough food to be able to put the fat on.
She's 6 or 8 pounds above stage weight right now.
Yeah, so Kyle ended up raising my fat too to help everything kind of stick and calories go up even more. And then after that last adjustment, that's so in terms of macros, I mean, everybody's different in terms of that. So it's just making sure you're eating enough where the scale weight is going up.
Well,
like you want it
food,
going up probably a pound a week, in the beginning.
I think the quality of food. So it's like after a cut, you might have been restricting and eating a little bit less certain fats. Right, you can throw in more avocado, salmon, make sure you're getting whole eggs, maybe a little bit of lean ground beef, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know your preferences, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or but just you fill in those gaps where maybe if you weren't getting a lot of red meat at the end of prep, you throw in a little bit of red meat.
I throw in some salmon.
Throw in some salmon, throw in some avocado, grass-fed butter, and just like have that variety of different types of, outlets of nutrients coming in and healthy fats and vitamins and minerals and just making sure that you're just eating healthy, right?
Yeah, and then post show, I didn't do that much alcohol this time around. Like I've had 2 alcoholic beverages since my show.
I think that helps. I think that slows a lot of people down.
I feel like alcohol is like literally poison for you post show. Like it slows down your metabolism and your recovery, and I drank a lot after 2019. I mean, I was having like a glass of wine.
Well, I think a glass of wine is fine. I just think if you're getting past being just one, if you like every day and on the weekends you're getting drunk, it's not gonna
So yeah, I've less alcohol, more whole foods, less eating out, and eating enough, doing less cardio, doing less in the gym, all of that combined. That's why I got it back so much. Plus these supplements that I'm about to share with you, because they asked about the supplements. And I started this day 1 post show. Like I got on this regimen right away because last year I started incorporating this stuff probably a month post show, and then I did get it back within like a month actually. So I started this little thing immediately. Yeah. And the one thing that I really like is this maca powder. I want to be able to see if you can read it.
Maca's in a Triumph.
Yeah, maca powder for athletes, the physically active. So it's for athletes. Maca root is a caffeine-free, edible, herbalist plant that has been traditionally used to support healthy energy and stamina. Maca can help you with peak performance at home, work, and play.
It's like estrogen metabolism.
So what I would do, and this is all what Kyle's sister-in-law like told us to do. So she'll
do this to help her like get pregnant and have more fertility and have her cycle be more consistent. And like instead of like at one point Lauren's cycle, we did this in the off season one time, Lauren's cycle was 40 days, every 40 days for her whole life. And then we got it down to like every 28, every 32, which is like if you're trying to get pregnant, which we weren't, this is what holistic people might suggest, this type of stuff.
Yeah, and she was like, yes. Like that was awesome. Like she was so happy, and I want my period to be regular and stuff. What I do is I track it through the Clue app. I don't take birth control. I know I had some questions on here about that, but this is what I do. I stack the Legion greens, and I do 3 grams of maca every day. And that's what I did post-show, 3 grams of maca, and I did my scoop of greens. I mixed these 2 together, and I did this for exactly 1 month post-show. I also, this is a new one that I introduced, is because Kyle's sister-in-law told us, Shatavari. I want to say shat, but...
Yeah, Shatavari.
Shat. It regulates and eases menstrual cycle, promotes hormonal balance. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I finished the bottle. Do you hear? Right when I finished it, I got my period back. Crazy.
Yeah. She was like sweating more at night.
Oh, I was having the heat sweats. Crazy. And then flaxseed. I was putting this on, I would do like 14 grams of this a day, and I'd put it on my yogurt. Every day I did flaxseed too.
But the trick is you want to grind it up yourself.
Yeah, because
you don't want to just eat the seed.
See the seeds?
Probably just run through you. If you can get like a coffee grinder, and then you put these flax seeds from Trader Joe's in the coffee grinder, and then you just eat that in the morning with a smoothie or Greek yogurt or put on oats or whatever you're doing.
Because then you just poop it out with the seed on there, and you're not even absorbing it. That's why you want to break it up first.
And of course, she stays on her fish oil and her multivitamin. The Triumph multivitamin by Legion actually has maca and a few other things in there that I like. And I think she's taking KSM 66, ashwagandha.
I was doing that, yeah.
Just like even the simple things like staying hydrated, sleep quality. She's really into the sleep. Like,
why is having a period important?
Yeah, I think long term, like bone mineral density, fertility, and it's just what naturally women do.
Did you feel your hormones regulating? I swear I had the worst hot flashes. Oh yeah. I was complaining to Kyle, I'm like, I'm waking up so hot in the middle of the night, I'm sweating, what's going on? And then we were just like, we don't know, is it, we thought it's just because I'm eating more food now and I'm just a bigger person. I'm just like, trying to burn off all this food that I'm eating or something. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had the hot flashes in a while now. So it was just my body just coming. Do you always lose it during prep? Have you ever competed with your cycle? I've never had a period during a season here. I lost it back when I was a runner in high school. I was every track season that I had, no period during track season. And then also in all of my preps, I've always have lost it when I got to this certain level of like leanness. But
and that's why we take off seasons too. There's something about us wanting to get at least the period for 6-7 times in a year. And then she go back and prep, and I feel like that is like still pretty aggressive, but it's less aggressive than and more responsible than a lot of what people.
Well, I think last year I only had it 4 times before starting this season,
which was our minimum.
Yeah. So this time hopefully we can get like 7 or something in. And then if with our clients that compete when they're on their cycle, sometimes this happens because they, during peak week, they do less actually. They're eating more, some of them, and they're doing less cardio. And yeah, sometimes some of my athletes will get their period on, during peak week. So what we do for that is we just monitor the sodium in the water. If they are on their period on show day, we just need to lower the sodium, and then we kind of pump up the water a little bit, and that helps with like the bloat feeling.
You could honestly not tell me, and I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah, it's all in your head too. Like, like the judges don't know, and it's all in your head, kind of. So that's true right there. Top 5 things you recommend to get your period back. Put on body fat in a responsible way. Don't need to, that's one thing, you don't need to gain like all of this body fat like within a week or something. Like you gotta have patience with it all too, okay? It's patience, it's time, but I think number 1 is putting on body fat, doing less cardio. So hopefully your coach like brought that down by half and is keeping on bringing that down.
Put on body fat, reduce cardio, and the patience and the time thing is number 3. And
I mean, what you're putting into your body too, in terms of like your macros, making sure quality
fats, and fruit and vegetables, and
what would be the 5th thing?
Sleep and stress.
Yeah, sleep and stress. Is it normal to not have my period back 1 year after show, even though I'm on 2,300 calories and not much cardio? So it's been 1 year post-show, you still haven't had your period. What do you look like? I mean, I know you're eating 2,300 calories, but is that enough? Are you still 3-5 pounds above your stage weight? You didn't bring that up.
You could be 10 pounds above your stage weight, and you could just be putting on muscle and still only be 2 pounds of fat in that process of a year. So we would need more context based on how you looked and how long did you lose it? How long were you stage lean? How long did you lose it before the show? How old are you? Is there past family history or history? That's just like something you want to go talk to a doctor about.
And then someone asked about birth control and its effect on muscle growth. I don't do birth control. I've tried it all. I've done the pill. I've done the rod in the arm. I've done the copper IUD in your uterus or whatever. And now I'm not on any birth control. I just track it through the Clue app.
I think that it depends on what type you're using, because some are like really estrogen dominant, and that might affect fat loss as well as muscle building more than some of the other ones that are blends and progesterone. And again, it depends on your genetics and stuff. Some people it might not be a big deal at all, and then some people they start the pill really early, and then there's so much controversy on this. I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, and then someone brought up
personal.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I'm just saying, I listen to experts, and there's experts that will say a couple different things about that, and I don't know, I don't feel qualified to really get into the...
This is a big one. This person's asking about fat intake and how much needed. So for a woman, I mean, that fat is so important. Like, I mean, that's everything. It's your hair, it's your skin, it's your nails, it's your brain power.
Well, for estrogen, I do feel like, yeah, women need fat more than carbs.
People ask why my hair looks so good and I compete so much, and you see some competitors have their hair is so thin and it's falling out, and their face is like white or gray, has no color in it.
I feel like, yeah,
you know, their fat is probably at 5 grams a day.
Well, I feel like men can handle being on 20, 40 grams of fat for an extended period of time and actually staying lean post-show a little bit more, depending on if they're on TRT or not, and natural or not. But men just naturally can handle being on less fat and be leaner. Mm-hmm. And that's from testosterone based on estrogen. So I do think you want to have, 35, 40 grams of fat in a day for women, mm-hmm. up to 80 grams, depending on who it is,
Mm-hmm. But if it's like 20 or something, that's real low. And we've heard some horror stories of some of our clients, and they're just like, I don't like to drop it below 35 or at least 40. Maybe 35 is at the very end of contest.
Depends how much you weigh.
It depends on how much you weigh and how tall you are.
Are you 85 pounds? Are you 105?
Yeah.
Are you 140?
Do you change anything when a female competitor client, this is from Kyle, when a female competitor client is on a period during contest prep? So yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the best thing to do is like incorporate some refeed days around that time. I think that's like a good thing. If you could like plan that would be awesome. Or like during the diet break, kind of planning it around your cycle or something.
I even I've tried higher carbs before a period.
Sometimes that doesn't really help.
To help them get it.
Oh, to help them get it, yeah.
I like doing sometimes if they're really consistent. I find some people are a little bit more insulin sensitive after the period, and I like to give them higher carbs then. Mm-hmm. And then, diet breaks, deload weeks within training. I think depending on the person, I can take away some of the volume, maybe reduce the load by 10-15%, take one set away, auto-regulate based on how they feel. In the beginning of their cycle, they might need to do that, and at the end of the cycle, they might be fine and they can ramp it back up. Mm-hmm. So
that's how we really, on our spreadsheet, we have it like, hey, we know when their period's coming. For me personally, I feel strong during my period. I don't know what it is, like I feel super strong in the gym during my period. Some people are different because if they get so bloated and uncomfortable. Okay, let's see.
Something that no one asked that is kind of like a joke people say, but I feel like it's kind of real is...
Oh, if you're watching this long, we can say that.
I feel like having sex can kind of...
I think so. I think that...
Maybe even having sex with yourself. I don't know if that would help, but just something going up there.
I don't know. There's something about that too. I think it stimulates some hormones or something.
Yeah, we don't know the science.
But have sex with your partner. I think that could help start your period up. If you're doing all the other things that I've been saying. Yeah, it can't hurt, right? So I started a calorie deficit diet and I bodybuild. I always did cardio and bodybuild, but now I'm doing HIIT cardio. Ever since then, I lost my period. And the second month when I put it in, so the first month I spotted for a week. The month it was for one month, it was for one day. I went to the doctors, get my hormones checked. Everything's fine. I'm not sure what to do. I don't like HIIT. I really don't like HIIT cardio. I think it takes away so much recovery from somebody and they're not able to train as hard. They're not able to, and if you're doing this in off season as well, like,
why
are you doing that? I think that is a main reason why a lot of people lose their cycle even faster in a contest prep, just because it's like they're doing HIIT and they're doing, I mean, it's just so much
HIIT
stress.
Cardio is a lot to recover from, especially if you're doing it correctly and you're actually going all out. It just takes a lot to recover from, especially if you're sprinting or doing something with a lot of eccentric loading compared to a spin bike. So if you are going to do HIIT cardio, spin bike's definitely the best option. Elliptical, all concentric movements. But yeah, I would take out the HIIT cardio and do more of a low intensity, steady state. And what hormones did you get checked? Did you get cortisol checked, or is it just kind of like estradiol and, you know, so something to look at too. But yeah, a lot of times people come back with blood markers and parameters like within range and they still don't have it. So it's, you might want to take the 10 days off. You might want to take away the HIIT cardio and then look at some of the other stuff we were talking about.
Yeah, so that was, this is a long video, but yeah, hopefully you guys learned some stuff, and that's why I don't compete all of the time. That's why you have to take off seasons, just mainly to recover, like, post-show and stuff. It's not good to stay stage lean, especially if you don't have a menstrual cycle. Even if you do have a menstrual cycle still, like...
Yeah, there's other things going on.
There's other things going on.
Mental health. I mean, we can go on forever and ever about what's good for longevity and being responsible.
That's all we care about right there. We care about that within our clients and within myself, for I can keep competing.
All right.
Longevity, guys.
That's a really good video.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.